That was easy. Obviously, there's no one here to make public comment, so we'll skip that. Ooh. Mr. Kramer, do you have any public comments you would like to make?
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you for asking.
Would you like to just join us?
No, I could do that. Have you got it?
Certainly. We are to public comment if you wanted to make any comments. We could just skip on to new business or old business if so needed to.
Up to you.
Do you have comments you would like to make, sir?
Well, the only thing that I thought would be kind of neat for the public is, I know, Terry, we were at the Main Street meeting. We were talking an awful lot about the new things that are going on in downtown Vero Beach. And, I don't know, I thought it might be a good idea to, maybe we should probably have Tim or somebody like that just come and give a report one of these days and let us know what's all going on, because there's an awful lot of construction going on High 1 and people, and in fact, I think next to you guys, I saw a new sign popped up across from the courthouse for office buildings.
There is the one that Schulke just got approved, the 4-story.
4 stories, wow.
Yeah.
But awful lot of new things are happening.
Yeah, you have where Avanzari is being redone, so there are quite a few things happening.
You have several new bar and restaurant businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the idea of having Tim come and bring at least the committee and anybody who's going to attend the meeting up to speed on it, because,
Right.
He's probably hears about it, as early as anybody does.
Right.
So.
What brings up the subject we talked about last time, and everyone talks about, in general, is that traffic, maybe reaching out to the other groups like Main Street and the art folks and everybody else. The idea of slowing down traffic, is that something everyone would get behind? Is that just, because if you're having 4-story buildings and more people walking back and forth,
Right.
There's no dedicated crossings, there's no automatics, there are obviously not traffic lights. And until someone gets squashed, we don't want to wait for that. But a way to slow that traffic down to something manageable where people can get across. That's going to help all those businesses, but,
Right.
from a safety factor.
I know that it's part of the Cultural Council's Art Village plan, is that traffic calming. They included in their packet.
Well, we talk about traffic calming years down the road and they repave and they narrow it, but in the meantime, just traffic slowing,
Right.
which we've talked about, and there's a meeting you said that's coming up.
MPO, which doesn't meet until June, I believe.
Maybe
Yeah.
at that, we might get representatives from some of the other that are all in behind the traffic calming to say in the interim,
What can we
what
do?
Band-Aid can we put on there to just slow things down, because it is tough to cross. And if everyone was behind it, I think it might have more impact in the request.
And I had a thought on that traffic calming, because it is something that the council has already approved, and we've got a couple of bids on it, and so we have the high bid, the low bid. I can't remember what the spread is. I think the high bid's about 137, the low bid's around 100,000, 98,000, somewhere in that range, because it's primarily a restriping project. And I was thinking, would it accelerate it, and Jay would like to get your opinion on it, if we had, say, a fundraiser and we could engage particularly some of the business people here, and I'm thinking, Bob Brackett, Mr. Willis, some of these property owners that are principal property owners downtown. And if we could raise, say, 50,000, and there's people that are capable of writing that check, just, a single, and accelerate that project and get it on the front burner rather than on the back burner like we currently have it. I think we've got it in our 3-year or 5-year plan. That might be an idea moving forward, and just to think, can we have a fundraiser? The city council has approved the traffic calming, so what we're left is an approved plan without funding, and if we could get the funding, can we move that thing up? Could we move that plan up? So Just a thought, just an idea. There are, and I know the cultural councils behind this, they would jump in head first, you know, to assist with that. I think the art people would, because they're kind of isolated on the other side of 60. So there are many, many people that would benefit in the downtown area from that traffic calming if we could move it up, if we could move that schedule up. I think what are we, still 7 years out, Jay?
Yeah, we are. We're waiting on the schedule from the FDOT on that. But are you thinking of like raising money for like restriping for parking?
Yes.
Because I think if we have the funds, I think we could actually probably do that now if we would like, if if the funds are available. Let me ask Monty on that. But I mean, do you feel like there'd be enough businesses that would find value in that they'd want to put money into it?
I would think. I mean, I know when Scott's here, he talks about he gets a firsthand everyday observation, as does Jessica, of the traffic that's going down the Twin Piers, and particularly right there on the westbound lanes and everything. There are many, many people that see this every day. You know, Jetson's expanding his business now, so he's going to consolidate into that
the new
building and everything. So there's so many people that would benefit from that plan. You would think that they would be anxious. You know, we've got the Press Journal downtown. That's a lot of folks. So I would think we could garner some support for that, Jay. I would think that we could go and ask some of our principal people how they feel about it, our landlords, our, property owners, and our stakeholders, people like maybe even the Banaks who own that building on the corner of 21st and 14th. I would think we could probably, I would say a significant goal would be to raise about $50,000,
Okay. I'm just trying to think. I know is it by the courthouse, or by you, Jessica, that's 4 lanes, right? So we go from 2 lanes to 4 lanes down to 3 lanes, right?
Yes.
So really, if we just went from 2 to 3 all the way through and had 1 lane for parking, you think that would help?
That would help, and if they slowed the speed limit, say to
Speed limits,
35 or something like that, and enforced it, had some,
We were talking about up in Sebastian, the speed limit on US 1.
Yeah.
It's slower than.
5.
Yeah, I mean, there's some areas there that are, and they have big events up there that people can cross the roads. I forget the name, it's like a so-and-so night, but I remember all the businesses, and they got thousands of people out that go from business to business.
Right.
And you can, on 60 right now, it would be insane.
No.
You can do that down US 1 Sebastian, so it's doable.
Right.
And it's a fairly small, area, because then you get past the church, then,
Right. The problem I see too, being where we are, is people going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And being a person that has lived up north and has many family members from up north,
Could you pull this mic in front of me, please?
Oh, sorry.
Me?
Yes. People don't look at the reflectors in the roadways because they don't exist up there. So if we had more signage that said wrong way, that might help. I mean,
Jessica makes an interesting
complete
comment.
oncoming traffic doesn't deter people.
Jay, it happens probably once a week, and so that's way too frequent of an occurrence. And so when I'm sitting in my conference room, if I hear the horns, I know
That's
somebody's
us.
going the wrong way. I look
Right.
out of the window and I go, sure, there goes somebody going.
Right.
And yes, we have those signs at every approach to State Road 60, both east and westbound, saying one way, but yet I've even pulled up to that intersection thinking I'm going to make a right turn, knowing that it's a one-way going westbound and I'm going to turn east and everything. So it's easy to get, I guess, misoriented, to kind of
Well,
forget.
people who aren't here all year long too get a little,
Yeah.
especially coming up on US 1, because you have that approach turn lane in the westbound at the westbound traffic light. where you actually have to go straight before you can turn. So that's a little disorienting to those people.
If you saw cars parked towards you, your brain would know not to turn.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Unfortunately, there was still a person like this. Believe me, I've seen it. Unfortunately, they kind of bottleneck traffic coming this way because they can't get back over that way. You know, because other people have kind of maneuvered around them to block them from kind of. So it just becomes this huge, because they get in their mind, oh, well, oh, no. So, yeah, it is. But it's very deceiving at that intersection with the signs, because it says you can't turn, but it says there's a turning lane. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's very confusing. And I can see how a person who isn't here all year long can get a little, you know, or people who have never been here before get completely, wait a minute, there's a turning lane, but I can't turn. Why, you know, and I get that. And to not pay attention to the reflectors in the road that are red when you're going the wrong way. If it's in a situation like Jay said, where you get these lulls, it's not a constant traffic flow.
It's not. That is, it is the strangest thing, because people will say how bad the traffic is, and then there's every once in a while I stand there and I look both directions and I don't see any cars.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the weirdest thing. And then next thing you know, you just hear this big roar of cars come flying by, and the timing is just not well.
Right. Well, there's apartments on the other side on eastbound State Road 60. And they walk across both sides of State Road 60 to get the laundromat.
Oh, yeah.
That is on the north side. And it's a little terrifying, I have to admit, watching them, because I've seen them, you know, at lunchtime or whatever, and, you know, they're dragging little kids with them.
That side's what, 3 lanes on that side, on the other side? Or is it 4?
It's 3 on both sides, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's 4 on the
westbound.
It's 4 on westbound,
Going westbound,
yeah,
right.
because of that lane to turn. So, yeah, and the accidents that happen where it actually pulls out into the curve, where people come around rip-roaring from, you know, 27th all the way through to 20th, have actually knocked down a concrete light pole.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I know Monty knows about that. We were sent over to do some assessments really quick, and they had a pole up that afternoon. You know, so I know he knows about that one. But there have been times where people, they've actually put bollards up in front of those apartments there, because people have run into that building a couple of times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which apartments are you?
The apartments that are right here.
Okay, they're on the south.
Yeah, they're on the south side of these, sorry.
Got it.
And that's
on the
us.
18th Avenue.
Yeah. So they walk from here, cross State Road 60, and the laundromat's on
Right
where
by
the
next to
deli is.
Moe's.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, another big troublesome spot, too, is that spot that's just east of US 1. So you have Colwell Banker on one side, and on the other side you have some apartment buildings in the Knights Inn.
Right.
And some of those people, and so you have a lot of people that are winter people going into Colwell Banker, and you have a lot of tourists going into both the apartment. I think they have short term, and Knights Inn and everything. I frequently see people going the wrong way out of the Colwell Banker parking lot,
Yes.
and also out of the night, you know, that little apartment building
Right.
that's just east of the Knights Inn. So those are, you know, maybe even a little sign right in their parking lot or
Yeah,
something like that.
I've
you know,
seen
kinda
someone pull out of Coldwell Banker to get right back on US 1, and it's
Yeah.
very dangerous.
Yeah, but we can put a team of groups together
Right.
that all have the same, you know, geographic agreement of where it needs to be just slowed down.
Right.
That might have a lot of impact and show support rather than just being the idea of a couple.
Right.
I don't know anybody who says, yeah, it needs to stay where it is. I've never heard someone go, oh, that's great. I can book through downtown and, you know, make good time. It's usually.
You know, Gary, and you bring that point up, but when we went before the city council, and Jay will recall this, there were letters to the editor from people that were complaining about being slowed down in this segment of US 1 between the railroad tracks and 20th Avenue. And they just were totally opposed to it. They, why should we be inconvenienced? And so a study ensued, and it showed that the maximum a person might be slowed down is 20 seconds. You lose 20 seconds out of your commute to have that traffic calming in that section. But it surprised me how many letters came into the editor for people that didn't want traffic calming there. So there are certain people that just think that our downtown is insignificant, that there's no need for traffic calming.
We could use reverse psychology. Tell them we're going to raise it to 65 and see how many letters you get that way.
On a highway through the middle of town.
Just out of curiosity, we're talking about possibly raising money. I know you've worked on the commercial side of real estate, but in your opinion, having that extra lane of traffic, is that going to really help the property values of those businesses right there? Have you ever seen an instance where that's actually happened?
Yes, traffic calming has a direct correlation between property values, Jay. That's your question, I believe.
Well, traffic calming and extra parking.
And extra parking has a direct correlation between property values and they've studied it. We had a great consultant come to the old courthouse building years ago, and they talked about certain places, and one of them, I believe, was in Baltimore. And the highway went through a portion of the city, and they decided that they would elevate a portion of the highway and create some parks and create some ways for the people to get to the river. And that was so effective that the whole district there, the whole business district, literally boomed as a result of it, because it was no longer isolated by a highway. Mm-hmm. Now people had the means of getting under these overpasses, and so there's no question there's a direct correlation between traffic calming, additional parking, and the business sector.
Okay. I'm just thinking of different ways to sell this, and it'd really help out if we find some case study
which in turn raises revenue for the city, and sure.
Well, it brings more money into the BID and starts perpetuating.
We could probably go back, and there's people like Milt Thomas wrote an article on it. He probably would know who the consultant was. We could probably look him up online, Jay, and we could probably get a copy of their report. Mm-hmm. Well-known consultants.
Google's a wonderful thing. So I can find it.
Yeah.
I looked it up on Google Maps. It didn't bang.
Google Maps, probably not, yes.
No, the Google search engine, possibly so.
I know we had talked about the way that the parking would be for safety reasons.
Oh, yeah, angular versus parallel?
Right. There isn't a whole lot of parallel parking in this town to begin with, and I'm sure you see firsthand how well people maneuver through the parallel parking situations in the downtown area on 14th. But I know that it works great on 14th Avenue. The angular parking that's there in front of where Avanzari is now, in front of Scott's, in front of, Seahorse Lane, all of those businesses, I think it works wonderful. I know even they've continued it all the way down to 19th now, and I know everybody loves it. It makes it just easier, it's safer. So those are some things to think about too.
Jay, I put in traffic calming consultants, and a lot of different things come up, and I don't remember the name of the group, but we've got Traffic Logics, Wells and Associates, and then a lot of examples of where it's actually been applied. So you've got a study in Vermont. You have another one in the city of Stockton in California. You've got another one in Missoula, Montana, another one in Farmingham. So there's plenty of good examples of where this technique has been applied and been very, very effective. And I just pulled that up. I put traffic calming consultants in there.
Okay, yeah, there's traffic logics. I just can't, when I'm looking at going from 2 lanes to 4 lanes to 3 lanes, I just cannot see the logic of why you'd have 4 in the middle. Why don't we just go 2 to 3 all the way through, and then have that 1 lane for parking?
Why not 2 to 3?
Well, the original proposal, we have the 2 twin pairs, and one's a 3-lane highway, the other one's a 4-lane. So westbound is a 4-lane. And the proposal, I believe, that the city approved, Jay, was to take the 4 lanes and reduce it to 2, and to take the 3 lanes and reduce it to 2.
Right.
And so, and we've got these streetscapes for both of those proposals, and they're kind of interesting. So we've got that available for us. The idea of going from 4 to 2 means that you have parking both sides, so it benefits both. And Jay, it's so badly needed. The building that I'm in, and we're moving to the Barrier Island effective June 1st. But one of the reasons we're having a difficult time selling that building is the question and the issue of parking constantly comes up. Gary even looked at the building, but if you had on-street parking directly in front of the building and you had 3 or 4 spaces available right there, what a boon that would be. And everybody would benefit, because this is the old downtown area. For the most part, we're not going to change significantly what we have there. And so the building I'm in is 18 inches separated from the building that's to the east of me, the Elliott Merrill building. And that's the case in most of our downtown area. The buildings nearly touch each other. So there's no real convenient way to add parking other than on-street parking. And on-street parking is such a neat thing because it provides parking for those businesses where they need it, in front of the business. And so we get back to what, the issue of traffic calming and parking and everything. What a boon it would be. And if I had showed that building to Gary and said, you got 4 right here in front of the building, he might have, looked at it more favorably. And there are other people, mental health, that have looked at that building. And they meet with groups of people, so that really becomes important. Some businesses are blessed. Elliott Merrill doesn't need the parking. The business to the west of us, the 2001 building, doesn't need the parking. They're blessed with abundant, on-site parking. So all of that parking would become available to people that do need it, people like ourselves.
Right.
And so that's really kind of just a thing that we should really focus a lot of attention to. It would really, really help the downtown area to apply that traffic calming plan with the on-street parking.
The thing is, it addresses so many issues, too. I mean, if I look through all the things we've talked about, it connects so many things. Even the sandwich board issue is less of an issue because people can park, can see, and slow down.
Right.
The reason they want them now is because they say people are flying by, so it starts getting rid of the sign issue. It brings more people. We were always talking about where we had a map where all the parking spots, the hidden parking places were in town, and how to get them around. Well, they have places to park already, so it really takes a lot of the points that we already have here, and really might be the cement that pulls a lot of things together.
And you're coming from 2 lanes off of US 1 at 30, 35 miles an hour, and you're hitting that State Road 60, and people gun it turning that corner because it just opens to 4 lanes, 3 lanes, and then to 4 lanes. Either way. And the minute you turn the corner onto US 1, you have to slow down. The minute you turn onto State Road 60, people are gunning it. So you've got that intersection where people are either having to slow down already, but if they're coming off of a road that's 2-lane and they're already slowing, they go east, it's 2 lanes.
Yeah.
They go north or south, it's 2 lanes.
Right.
That's the only area of this town that is a
Drag strip.
humongous drag strip. Exactly. And I mean, it goes all the way out to 58th. And, you look at 58th and I don't even want to know how many accidents happen there on a regular basis.
That is so true. As soon as that light turns green, you have 4 lanes of
Yeah.
empty. There's no cars down there.
Right.
It's just clear road. You're right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's from every intersection from that point. I was over in Miracle Mile just yesterday, came out of the backside of where Panera is, up to 6th Avenue, could not go straight. Accident had happened, had to turn on to 6th Avenue. You know, I mean, it goes all throughout that area because people are just, they hit off of Indian River Boulevard and they just fly. And it's, you know, it's a major thoroughfare in this area. I understand that, but we're going to have Oslo.
Right.
We're going to have Airport Drive, you said?
Airport Boulevard, we're hoping,
right.
yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we're going to have other means of getting out west, you know, to take us. I mean, Airport West takes you right on to 26th Street. You know, it leads right into 26th there. So to do, you know, all of this stuff to, you know, calm the traffic, you're going to have alternate means. It's not like we're making it impossible for you to get out to the mall. You know, I just don't understand why people would be so opposed to saving lives.
I think it's a good idea. I think it also connects so many other things that it's the.
Is Oslo? No, Oslo's 2 lanes each way.
Is it 2 or is it 3? I think
Oslo's
it's
2 lanes with.
Well, no, Oslo's 4 lanes now.
Is it 4?
4 lanes from US 1 all the way to
2 lanes each way.
43rd Avenue. 2
lanes each way.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Right. It's 2 lanes each way.
True.
All the way out to 66? 66?
And then there's a turn. Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't seem to me like it's almost a no-brainer. And I mean, you've got schools off of that area. Just
How did
like
it ever
you have
get to be so? I mean, what was the going back? Maybe you remember
58.
why was it ever so fast? Set such a high speed limit through downtown.
Right.
That
60, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that had to do with the Interstate 95 stopped at 60, went through.
I mean, from downtown, why was it so high? I mean, why would you set the speed limit higher than US 1 even?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That doesn't make sense.
Historically, it's interesting.
That came up in the original visioning report, Gary, and it's kind of interesting. And so, yes, it happened in conjunction with State Road 60, and they thought it was a brilliant idea, right, to split State Road 60 through the downtown area. And of course, it's turned out to be not such a great idea. Because, for one thing, it doesn't facilitate the movement of traffic through the downtown area. It's a confusing type thing for many people, especially people not familiar with the community. But that was something that came down many, many years ago, was adopted and has stuck. And so we are stuck with the twin piers. They've never been particularly. You know, everywhere where we've taken these one-way streets and turned them into two-way streets, and think of 13th Avenue where the post office is, it's benefited and facilitated the movement of traffic and you know, businesses and that type of thing. So 60 is just a problem that we developed long ago, and we've never provided a current day solution to. It was just a quick way to facilitate the movement of cars from State Road 60 primarily to the Barrier Island. That would be my opinion. But it came up in our original visioning report for Vero Beach, and very little has been done about it till the city council passed the ordinance to actually enact traffic calming. So all of those years have gone by, and even the traffic calming doesn't change what we have. It just calms what we have. Maybe a more viable solution would be to make eastbound and westbound 60 two-lane roads. Mm-hmm. And that might be a more viable solution, but that's never come up that I can recall with any real support. Do you ever recall any discussion on? I know we had a lot of discussions about 60, and we had the downtown charrette, and everything. As a matter of fact, I have that on my desk. I'll look at it when I get back into the office.
Yeah. Well, I think we don't have any major disagreements on it. It's just, I mean, we're in the implementation stage. And I was going to suggest, I mean, we can bring back, that total plan and see if we can't, I mean, if you think people are willing to do some fundraising for it, I mean, we can start implementing this in pieces. I mean, I know we were waiting for the FDOT project to come through to do it all, but if you have people that say, hey, I'd like to go forward with, a part of it, why not? I mean, especially that piece from 14th Avenue West. I mean, you've got that little bump out. I mean, why not do the parking on the south side of 60 going west?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty much
Test it out and see if it helps.
Right.
Well, the bump out pretty much euthanizes that lane anyway. You might as well put parking there. But
Because that'll slow things down, because I know they come with such force. A year ago, the car went right into Sullivan's building.
Yes.
Because they get T-boned from,
I can name you probably 6 accidents that are in that area, and one of them
Slow it
happened
down.
to, yeah.
Nicely.
Yeah. What happens is tractor trailers coming down and somebody goes in that turning lane to get around them. Somebody pulls out to go across, and you just cannot slow down fast enough.
yeah.
Yeah, their building has taken, well, your building has even had
Oh, yeah.
someone,
We had somebody come
it.
drive into the conference room one
it's
day.
not a drive-in.
Window out and ended up inside, like about 3 feet inside the conference room. We have a planter up front, and they hit the planter and just devoured that.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all up and down State Road 60 because of that high rate of speed. I mean, the impact is so much greater because that car is not able to slow down fast enough.
So then what steps do we need to start taking to start putting that in motion? What group should we reach out to?
I think what we need to do is probably do Main Street, what Heritage, the Cultural Council, the Art District. Probably all of those people would.
That would be the big four, and I think that if we passed a motion, and it might be better to wait till maybe all 5 of us are here, or we could certainly pass a motion today, or entertain a motion today to at least explore the feasibility of a fundraising project to speed up the traffic calming on State Road 60 and maybe cut it down to an initial portion, as Jay has suggested, from perhaps, Jay, the railroad tracks, so we encompass both sides of 14th Avenue westward to 20th Avenue and take on that portion of it. That would really help the downtown area. So you'd have that whole area, which includes a lot of different things, a post office, a chamber, a lot of businesses are there. That would be a good thing if we could just tackle that segment there. We would
Right.
really be accomplishing a lot, and because the original proposal went all the way to US 1. Am I correct about that?
Yeah. It would just be nice to have just a small section to demonstrate some success. Once that success has been demonstrated, I think then it's a no-brainer from there.
Right.
And what kind of, we can talk to somebody about the cost of doing it. It can't be that much to take those lanes and,
Stripe and.
right,
Yeah.
I mean.
Maybe we can get with Monty.
Yeah, I'll do that.
If we have a cost, that would be a whole lot better for us to know how we move forward. I think maybe what we could do is maybe invite all of those people to our meeting in June. And at least maybe by then we can have a dollar amount as to how much it would cost. I think in a month's time, Monty can probably put together a dollar figure for us.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I mean, both
At least
striping
we
can't
can-
be that huge. There's
Right.
no real infrastructure going in. That should be.
I have a feeling, Jessica, that the city might be able to do it more efficiently than the state DOT as far as costs.
Right.
They might deliver a cost that's significantly lower than the cost we've been quoted by the DOT folks.
Right.
Who,
that was my next question. Do we need DOT approval?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'd need to go through the permitting process, so that in itself is.
I really don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, I don't think so either.
Just another hurdle.
Right.
You know, and one of the things on your agenda, Jessica, is about meeting during the summer months, and you talked about a June meeting, and I know June begins, you know, summer vacations, a
Right.
lot of families go on vacations and
Right.
everything. If we're going to have a June meeting, maybe we can skip July and August and resume in September, and then focus our attention toward the June meeting, and we could tackle this issue before summer recess, so to speak. And
Or we could meet with, or at least send the invitation out to the people, because a lot of people will be leaving earlier this year because people with families will be coming back sooner. So maybe the thing to do is to not necessarily table it, but to have us do, coordination with Monty, getting the figures, doing the stuff that we need to do in order to get our ducks in a row to present it to these other boards, and then meet with those people in August, because at that point school will be back in session. People will be back to their normal schedules because school's starting very early this year. So anybody with
I
families
think I reach
will
out
be-
and see if we can put a quorum together in those months in case we need to. And,
Right.
I doubt all 5 of us will be gone for
Right.
meetings, but
Right.
if we are, we are. But
So, it might be best for us to get our ducks in a row before we present to them. So it might be best to hold off until August.
so do we need a motion to put this in motion, or we can just say that's our goals for?
I don't think we need a motion.
Okay, so it's not anything that has to be approved. Just,
Yeah, I've kind of got homework to
Yeah.
do, so what
Right.
I'll do is I'll get this over to the
That
guys
gives-
and
Right.
get it out to you guys.
Gives us more of a chance to put all of our information together, and then we can even, because we're going to probably have to, put together a plan, obviously, for DOT. So we're going to need to get someone on board to do that. And then we're going to have to, put together our submittal to DOT, to even see if they would be willing to approve it, and pre-apps are free. So we could just do, a pre-app, and those are done over the telephone. So that's something that, we can figure out, and, Monty can maybe handle,
Well,
to even see if the DOT would approve it. It'd be pointless to have the conversation if DOT says no.
if they're going to have the conversation, can we? What I'm trying to do is we need to have an agreement as to, are we going to just try from 14th Avenue west to where the Twin Pairs meet as a trial section?
I think
I
that'd
would
be a
say
good
from
idea.
Old Dixie West, so that you encompass both sides of 14th, Jay, and that seems to be a more logical. And it's, it's truly a break between east portion of the Twin Pairs and the west portion of the Twin Pairs. There's only 2 blocks between Old Dixie and 14th Avenue.
Okay, so Old Dixie West, and we're talking about the westbound lane, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What is down there?
That would be a great start, and it's like you
That's what I
say,
think, where's
we
that
can
come out?
really determine the success and the functionality of that particular project, and we're really cutting it down in force, basically, maybe less in force. So that should be an economic and a feasible thing. It could be, Jay, that could be done for $25,000, or,
striping?
in that limited area, Gary, just in the west.
What's that area you're talking about? I'm trying a hard time between Old Dixie and
Old Dixie to 20th Avenue on the westbound lanes of.
no, I got that. Between Old Dixie and 14th, I'm trying to.
From the dry cleaning, just on the other side of the railroad tracks?
Oh.
That is another very difficult place to get out of.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I see it. So you go there, and then you got, is that where Jetson, and then, okay, I know what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
of a natural break point. And it would almost seem that if
Railroad
you're,
tracks, right?
well, see, I know when you cross the railroad tracks and you're heading towards 14th, you're forced to make that left-hand turn on the 14th, and then after that,
Yeah,
that lane is
that's-
gone.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe you just started it from Highway 1 and all the way come down. But let's
But like you were saying,
let's
I
get the
think
cost
it's-
for each segment.
Right. I think it might be easier to do the one section, prove it, like you said, and then go, okay, well, our next phase is to do it from US 1 on the same side and see.
People start
you
getting
know.
used to it.
Right.
You already have a physical barrier.
Right.
Everyone already knows they have to turn, and then all
So
of a sudden
that
it's just
makes
another
that,
barrier.
right, that makes that 3
Not
lanes.
really changing traffic pattern at that point. I mean, mentally,
Right,
people already, when they see an obstacle in their way, they won't move to it.
right. I think that might be the easiest way to do it, just for now, just to get a
Track
result,
record of,
so
yeah.
to say, you know, or,
You know what I'm concerned with, Jay, is if you had 4 lanes going to 14th Avenue westbound and all of a sudden constricted them right there at 14th Avenue.
well, you have
Well, they already
the
are, really.
constriction already where it goes from 4 to 3.
You do.
So it's already
Goes to 4
down
to 3
to
to
3.
4.
Right,
Because of that bump out.
right.
Yeah.
So you take that lane out,
So-
it's already a natural.
I mean, ideally, we should go
Right.
3 lanes all the way through, but
Yes.
let's just get a cost for that. Why not?
You can get a cost for both, yeah.
All right.
I mean, if it's cost effective and we think we can raise it, hey.
You want that parking there
Do
before
it.
you sell the building, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah,
It's coming.
it is.
That's going to be a long wait, Jay.
All right, well, I've got homework then. I'll get this stuff done.
Is there any old business we need to go over? I know our economic development plan was approved. Thank you very much, Mayor Kramer. Our one holdout, Ms. Pilar Turner,
She's been consistent.
Yes.
I have to say that.
which is fine. And I understand some of her concerns. I completely do. I would like to see her here to fully understand what we're trying to do as far as not spending the city's money and trying to do things very responsibly. Unfortunately, she has not come to see our means and methods. You know, I think maybe.
Well, you've got a good majority to work with, so I think
Right.
we'll keep moving on.
Yes. So what we can do is, how is the city council itself meeting for the summer?
They're actually just going to have one meeting in July and one meeting in August.
Okay.
We can cancel more meetings though if we want, right?
No, you have to have one meeting a month.
So if we all take a look at our calendars and see, do we want to meet in June?
I think it would be real good.
Yeah, I think if we get this information back, I mean,
Right.
it's putting them,
We could
move things
meet-
forward.
It would be the 20th. And then we'll skip July.
Tentatively, it might,
Right.
you know, if it might be such a thing where we might need, you know, just an approval thing and have
Right.
a majority of board for something.
Right.
I think you'll get 3 members.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine the other 2 would not agree with what we say, because this is consistent with last meeting as well, so.
So if we tentatively scheduled July, it would be the 18th.
Yes.
And then August would be,
The 15th.
yes.
15th?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it is that I end up with homework every time I have these meetings.
You have to volunteer, right? Come on in, have a seat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you go sit in the back there.
Right.
Yeah, bring your checkbook while you're at it.
She'll ask for your checkbook next year.
Hey.
You just need a few dollars to get this thing started. Just seed the pot.
Mayor Kramer's on board, see?
What I'll probably do is I'll probably run up and get this stuff knocked out here real quick, so
Okay.
we'll get it to you as soon as
Are
we
we
can.
adjourned?
We are adjourned.